Why Epic Games will win the lawsuit against Apple. I don't know about you, but as a kid, I used to kick my friends out when they disagreed with me at my place. And when I think of the ongoing saga between Epic and Apple, there aren't a lot of differences. The beginning. The saga began in August when Epic, the makers of Fortnite, released an update that allowed users to make purchases directly from the company. This move violated Apple's terms of service, so it was no surprise that Apple wasted no time in yanking Fortnite off its App Store. Epic responded to Apple's decision to delist Fortnite by accusing the tech giant of breaching the United States antitrust law and ultimately sued it. The lawsuit. In the lawsuit, Epic alleged that Apple has been running a monopoly over the iOS because apps can only be installed on iOS devices via the App Store. The lawsuit further claims that Apple takes advantage of the system to take a 30% commission of all transactions. Epic believes that this system is unfair to developers as they do not have an alternative route to reach iOS users. The company also made similar claims against Google. Apple has gone on to defend itself by stating that it doesn't run a monopoly. The company claims that users can install games on other platforms such as Android devices, PCs, and gaming consoles. So, disgruntled developers like Epic have the choice of concentrating on these platforms. Why Microsoft has been supporting Epic. Since August last year, Microsoft has spoken out publicly in support of Epic's lawsuit against Apple. In Microsoft's statement of support, the company stated that Apple's decision to stop Epic from accessing its Mac and iOS developer accounts and tools was wrong. According to Microsoft, the decision put both gamers and game developers that use the Unreal Engine at a disadvantage. To put it simply, developers will be unable to update games on the platform. A Microsoft spokesperson who also stated that if Unreal Engine is unable to support apps on iOS, the company will have to either stop making games for iOS users or find another game engine when developing new games. Furthermore, Microsoft has also had its struggles with Apple. Earlier in the year, Microsoft released a statement condemning the Apple App Store's policies. The company has been testing xCloud on iOS, but it was only able to make one game, Halo: The Master Chief Collection, available to 10,000 testers. Meanwhile, Microsoft was able to test several games on Android beta. After the conclusion of the test, Microsoft announced that it won't be launching its cloud gaming service on iOS due to unfavorable policies. On the other hand, Microsoft was able to launch xCloud successfully on Android and in the process adding hundreds of games via the cloud. If Epic wins its lawsuit against Apple, the changes should make it possible for Microsoft to make xCloud available on iOS. How the case will be decided? The case will be decided in a bench trial, and this means there will be no jury. The judge in charge of the case is U.S. District Court Judge Ivona Gonzalez-Rogers. In an earlier ruling which went in favor of Apple, Rogers showed that she wasn't in support of the steps taken by Epic. However, Epic argued in its defense that the terms that it violated were illegal. So it's clear that Epic knew what it was doing from the start. In the end, this case isn't centered on Epic's tactics. The real question is if Apple has breached the U.S. antitrust laws. How Epic could win. The final verdict on the case will depend on how Rogers views the market. In cases like this, the plaintiff has to show that the other party has full control over the market to approve a monopoly. At first glance, the US smartphone market is dominated by two powerhouses, which are Apple and Google. About half of the country's smartphone users use iOS devices, while the remaining half have Android devices. Apple has full control over how installations and payments are carried out on its platform. Hence, Epic needs to convince the judge to see the market as iOS alone. Should this happen, it will mean that Apple truly has a monopoly. This is the most essential argument. But if the judge accepts Apple's argument that the market doesn't consist of iOS devices alone, then it doesn't have a monopoly. Epic's argument could crumble automatically. One may think a single brand can't be seen as a whole market. However, it has happened before. In 1992, an antitrust lawsuit was filed against Kodak by a group of disgruntled businesses that offered repair services for Kodak products. The group argued that Kodak had violated antitrust laws by not selling them replacement parts and thus creating a system in which only the company could repair Kodak copy machines. In its defense, Kodak argued that discontented customers had the choice of purchasing copy machines from other companies. However, the Supreme Court ruled against Kodak. The court pointed out that a single brand of a product can be an entire market. This is because when customers buy copy machines from Kodak, Kodak automatically became the only market for them in terms of repairs. They simply couldn't go to other brands for parts and services. There are similarities between the argument against Kodak and the one against Apple. This is because iOS users can only get their apps from the App Store. There is no way that an iPhone user can opt for an Android app. So the main goal for Epic will be to prove that iOS users can't get their apps from other platforms. If they can achieve this, the App Store will begin to appear like a monopoly. This is why the first argument made by Epic's lawyers contains several pieces of evidence on how Apple has been looking for ways to ensure that its customers do not switch to other brands. One of the references made by the lawyers included an email that Steve Jobs sent to Apple's top employees in 2010. In this email, Apple's late CEO outlined his plan to tie all of Apple's products together so they could further lock customers into their ecosystem. Once Epic successfully proves that Apple has a monopoly, the next line of action will be to prove that Apple has been breaching antitrust laws. Epic will need to prove that Apple has been using its monopoly power to force software developers to distribute their products through the App Store and also ensure that they can only receive payments through its payment processing system. According to US laws, it is illegal for monopolies to create a system in which a product is tied to the sale of a separate product. Even if Epic loses this case, it definitely won't be the last we will be hearing about this topic. Aside from the obvious reality of an appeal, the case has also garnered the attention of lawmakers. The result of a hearing held by the US Senate showed that the lawmakers aren't in support of the structure of both Apple and Google's app stores. The lawmakers were uncomfortable with the fact that both companies take a 30% commission on all transactions made on the respective platforms. So if Apple wins the lawsuit, there is a huge chance that the lawmakers would have to pass new laws that will reduce the hold of these companies over the app market. In addition to more strict antitrust laws, the US Department of Justice could also file a fresh lawsuit against Apple. Something similar is ongoing in the European Union too. The European Commission has filed a lawsuit against Apple due to the company's alleged discrimination of rival music streaming apps. The case resulted from a complaint laid by Spotify on how the 30% commission charged by Apple puts software developers at a disadvantage. What an epic win means. Should Epic go on to win this case, a lot of the things will have to change on how Apple does business. Apple will be required to allow software developers to distribute their products and execute transactions via alternative routes. This would cause a significant drop in Apple's revenue. On the other hand, it will allow developers to have their storefront on iOS devices. It will also trigger an increase in the revenue of app developers. What does it mean for iPhone users? Presently, users of iOS devices can only install apps from the Apple App Store. This gives iPhone users very little or no freedom on where they download their apps from. The only exception is users who have hacked their iPhones through a process known as jailbreaking. Jailbreaking allows iOS users to install apps that haven't been authorized by Apple. However, only a minority of iPhone users have done this. PCs are much more flexible when it comes to app installation. Users of both Windows and Mac computers have the option of downloading their applications in several ways. This also allows the developers to sell apps to users via any payment method they choose. Therefore, a lot of observers feel that operating systems on smartphones should be as flexible as ones on personal computers. Should Epic be successful with the lawsuit, Apple may be ordered by Rogers to make its operating system more flexible. That way, iOS users have an increased amount of freedom. Also, Epic claimed that it had to charge its customers higher fees because of Apple's 30% commission. So customers should be paying lesser fees for V-Bucks purchases if Epic wins. What about Fortnite players? As I mentioned earlier, Apple removed Fortnite from the Apple Store after Epic violated its terms of service. The same was also done by Google. So only smartphone users who had the game before the removal have been able to play the game. However, these players have not been able to download any updates. Smartphone users have also been unable to play with friends playing on other platforms like Mac, Xbox, and PlayStation. According to Epic, Apple has been preventing millions of users from enjoying the game. Epic stated that other consoles do not have the same features as Apple devices. A good example of this is how players can play Fortnite on Apple devices anywhere. Apple responded to that claim by mentioning how portable the Nintendo Switch is. Another claim made by Epic was that Apple deliberately makes it difficult for iOS users to switch to another mobile platform, for example, an Android phone. If you love playing Fortnite on iOS devices, then you should hope that the judge rules in favor of Epic. If not, you might have to wait for Fortnite's return for a long while. In conclusion, this court case will be a very tough battle for Epic to win. But even if the company fails to win this battle, it's definitely going to continue its war for open ecosystems. Thanks to the riches raised from Fortnite, Epic has proven itself to be a company capable of causing a stir. In a way, Epic has successfully triggered a movement that has seen some online stores slash their commissions. One of these is Microsoft, which now takes only 10% commission. Apple and Google have also been getting a lot of heat from the US Senate, while Apple is facing a lawsuit in Europe thanks to the complaints made by Spotify. So the change that Epic's clamoring for may either come from the court or the government regulators. Regardless of what happens in the future, you can expect Epic to achieve its goal of seeing the demolition of walled gardens. Finally, if the court rules in favor of Epic, it would be a massive win. A win that will transform the mobile app market. That's it for today, guys. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons to follow up for more updates. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell. Do have a great time. Bye!